Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It's been a few days. Actually, it's been about a week since I've actually felt the need to turn the camera on. We went on a family vacation for the holiday. We went to Myrtle Beach. We did a road trip in the Bull TV, and I actually have all the footage from it on that camera there. However, my health took the best of me, and I ended up in the hospital. I'm home now. I wouldn't say I'm bedridden, but the pain comes in waves. They gave me some interesting medicine. And just to give you guys a little bit of an update without, grossing you guys out too much. When I was a kid, I used to suffer frequently from kidney stones. And unfortunately, they weren't so bad. They used to pass. I used to feel them. There was pain, but within, a few days, maybe a week or so, it'll pass. And, that's that. The last kidney stone I had was, I think, in 2009 or 2010. I was hospitalized. There was an ultrasound session done to break it up and allow me to pass the stone naturally that way in smaller pieces. That's what they do. They take a larger stone, they'll ultrasound it, the sound waves will shatter it, and then you essentially have many smaller kidney stones coming out instead of one giant one that could potentially cause blockage or damage. So on July 4th, we left Myrtle Beach. We hit the road. I had just loaded the car up. In fact, what's really bad about it is that a lot of that trip didn't even get documented. I did a whole level 1 charge. It took 2 days to level 1 charge the car, which was interesting all on its own. But I'll get to that in a separate video. I had already packed up everything. I got in the car. Boom, we hit the road. About 5 miles down the road, massive cramp right here, like in my middle abdomen. Couldn't tell if it was gas, couldn't tell if it was an appendix exploding, couldn't tell much of anything. You know what? I'm not a doctor. So my first thought was, all right, let's hit a gas station and see if the bathroom will help. No, it didn't help. I told my wife Maria, I said, punch in the nearest urgent care. When I get out, I'm going to drive us there. I was still able to drive. I was still relatively horizontal, but now I had just this, what felt like a bullet wound in my sort of upper, like right at the bottom of this rib cage here, right at the bottom of the rib. It was like a massive cramp. And I made it to urgent care. They ruled out my appendix. Now, for those who don't know, urgent care is great when you have like something like an infection or something that they can give you some medicine for or something. But it's not great for diagnosing things. They don't have imaging equipment. They can't do, most places don't have ultrasound machines, x-rays, and stuff like that. So you end up having to go to an emergency room. Anyway, so the nurse practitioner comes in and she's doing this massage, trying to isolate whether or not it's my appendix or a pulled muscle or something, because I told her the story of how I just got done loading the car up. We got in a car, blah, 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 checked out of the hotel. And she was able to rule out my appendix being burst just based on where the pain was and how my responses to her questions were kind of steering, the investigation, if you will. So what ended up happening was she ruled out my appendix. She went this way and started massaging, just my abdomen very deeply. Like she used, this part of her fist, and she was giving me the beans. And as uncomfortable as I was, in a miraculous move, a whole bunch of gas shot out. Just, you know, and she kept going a little bit until it was kind of, settled. I literally deflated. That's all I could say is my abdomen deflated. But, she did, really press down hard. And I left the urgent care actually feeling 1,000 times better. No medicine, no nothing. Just a really deep, like, massage that freed up some trapped gas. And we hit the road. 3 days later, I'm in the urgent care again. This time, Eddie and I were just driving up to do some errands. We had gone up to get our haircuts, and about halfway there, I told Eddie, I said, Eddie, we're not going to make it. And he said, what's wrong, Daddy? And I said, I have another pain. But this time it's lower. So this time it was like down here. Before it was like up here. Now it's sharp stabbing. Another bullet hole, like right here. Like, my gut. And then, I know you can't really tell through the blanket, but I'm not really decent right now to really do this video. I just wanted to give you guys an update. So I ended up in the urgent care, and again, couldn't really diagnose me. They actually immediately referred me to the emergency room. They said, you have to get this imaged and you have to get this checked out. And they offered to send me via ambulance, call EMS and have EMS take me. And I said, no. I'm in a lot of pain, but I can make it back. I'll drop my son off with my wife, and then I'll head to the emergency room. And that's actually exactly what I did. I called Maria. She was on her way home. We got on the road at that moment, and I said, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm going to drive. I'm going to get Eddie home, and then we'll see how it goes. So I got home in complete flustered, like I can't even keep my eyes open, pain, just stumbling over myself. We decided to try to get me in a bathtub, which, for those who don't know, I'm 6.5 feet tall. Fitting me into a bathtub is actually a comedy show. And I ended up squeezed into this bathtub with my arms just kind of like, here. But the hot water helped. The hot water, relieved a lot of that excess pain, that burning pain. But, anybody will tell you hot water is just a stopgap measure. It's not a cure. It definitely didn't take care of it. It was just a means to figure out what was next. Now, I already knew that my end game was going to be the emergency room. What I didn't know was that it was going to get 1,000 times worse when I got out of the water. Just the movement of getting out of the water caused this fire to burn deep, like at the lower part of my belly, to the point where I couldn't stand up straight. I was screaming, I was crying, I was just everything. Super broken. Now, I don't know what to think anymore because 3 days had gone by since the July 4th incident. Here we are, July 7th, and I'm dying. Ended up going to the emergency room. We left the Bolt EV here. My wife took me in the RAV4, Eddie in the back seat, and we went to the emergency room. One of the perks of living in a town of 7,000 people is that there's a good chance the emergency room is going to be empty. I was in a bed within 3 minutes. I had IVs in me within 10 minutes. Pain meds within 12 minutes. Everything. 2 nurses came in. They absolutely did everything. And God bless these nurses because I was in bad shape. Nausea, everything from just, if you can see the human body just fall apart, that's what I was. That's how it was a few days ago. Now, I don't have actually my watch on. It's over here on the charger. So I don't even know what date it is. I think it's the 9th. It might be the 10th. Just judging on how long I've been in this bed. I just wanted to let you guys know I'm still in this bed. I'm going to be in this bed for at least another 2 days. Here's what ended up happening. Once they got medication in me, morphine and all these other like stopgap pain meds through the central IV line, they were able to get me into a wheelchair and they wheeled me to the CT scan machine. Now, for those who don't know what a CT scan is, I personally think it's the coolest machine I've ever seen. Now, I hate MRIs because MRIs are massive, they're noisy, they're clunky, they're giant magnets, and, claustrophobia is a thing. I don't think I suffer from claustrophobia, but the last time I was in an MRI machine, I had an episode of claustrophobia. This CT machine was tiny, thin, maybe 2 feet deep, but my feet stuck out, my upper body stuck out, and the machine just did its thing. It's obviously MRIs are giant magnets that are resonating magnetic waves through you, creating the image. The CT machine is, radiation that's going through you. So it's a little bit, I think it's more effective. Well, at least for the patient, it's more effective. Anyway, so got me out of the machine. The scan took about, 3 to 6 minutes, whatever. Got out of the machine, put me back in the wheelchair. The guy wheeled me back. It took 2 people, 2 pretty strong, these nurses are incredible. And with the kind of physical strength that they have, you wouldn't know it if you're looking at them. Now, both of these nurses, they were like moms of 3 kids. I think one had 3 boys. The other one had like a girl and 2 boys. They could, between the both of them, they could lift a car just whoop into the bed. Picture them lifting up a Volkswagen Beetle. They lifted me out of this chair and put me into this bed. Now, I'm 344 pounds or so at the last weigh-in, which was, before the holidays. So I might be even more now. I don't know. Or maybe less. I don't know. And they lifted me up like I was just a bag of potatoes at a grocery store. They put me in bed, and they just told me to pass out. They said the best thing you can do is just close your eyes, put your phone down, just close your eyes, and let the medicine do its thing. Sure enough, between the morphine and everything else, I was flying high. About an hour or so later, no, not even, maybe 40 minutes later, My doctor comes in and he's like, I took a look at your CT and you have one of the most jagged kidney stones that I've ever seen that's traveling through your body. Now, what I didn't mention beforehand was I already had indicators that I had urinary tract problems, in that I had blood in my urine. And essentially, that stone, as it passed, it wasn't big enough to cause a blockage, but it was jagged enough to etch a lovely slice and dice affair through the ureters that come. I think that's what it's called, the pipe work that goes between your kidneys and your bladder, and then your urethra from your bladder out the front door. It had the ability to chop up all that, and essentially I had all of these wounds that were now open in my pipework that essentially allowed urine to go back into my bloodstream. So right now I'm on infection watch. I have a lot of medications over there that are, for everything from ibuprofen to various control meds, to open up the passageways. Figure like the nitroglycerin for your urinary system. You take it and boom, it opens them up and it allows you to pee at maximum capacity. So if you do have a blockage, there's a good chance that your body will just open up and let it fall out. But problem is as it's falling out, it's cutting you. It's taking its winnings with it. So now I'm healing, essentially. I don't have the pain anymore. I've also reduced the amount of medication that I'm on. Right now I'm just on like Motrin, and I think as of tonight, as of the last few hours, I'm only on Motrin. So my body's weaning off the oxy and all that stuff, the hydrocodone or whatever else it was, to manage the pain. I feel like I'm at a point with the pain where I can just kind of deal with it. I elevated my bed up. I have one of these adjustable beds, that I can put my back up, my legs up, and I don't have to move. And also it prevents me from getting sores and stuff like that. So I'm able to, to get a decent rest in this bed. And that's where I've been. And also this is where I will be for the next, I don't know, let's call it till Wednesday, because I don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday, but I was told to give it a week, to let my body heal. I was up and moving around. I have my waves of energy, like they come and go. Pain, it's still there. It still hits me at random times. I could be sitting watching, something on my phone, or I have my iPad over here. I was watching a movie earlier and all of a sudden I just kind of keeled over and wanted to vomit and all that stuff. So it's a rough time. But I'm getting my strength up. My brain is semi-clear. I have my laptop down here, so I may actually, just out of boredom, I may do some work tomorrow. I may try to, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to write any software, but I may update some scripts or something and see what the federal government put out for cybersecurity, advisories and stuff like that. At least not fall behind, because that's kind of dangerous in my field. Other than that, I think that's about it. I kind of as a final note, if you will, I think the two incidents, the one in Myrtle Beach and this one, I think they're connected in that the deep massage that I got by that nurse may have actually been deep enough to dislodge one of these stones. And the doctor, I told him the story, and the doctor said, well, it could have been anything. You could have stomped your foot really hard on the ground and it would have done the same thing. You just don't know. I said, well, I mean, I'm not a firm believer of coincidences, but, you know, I guess I guess you just have to take it as it comes. So I believe that the two incidents are related, both the same side, one much lower than the other in terms of the location, but nevertheless, I had my whole abdomen was kind of deep massaged, and I don't know, but I'll be all right. I'm gonna make sure that I don't get any secondary infections. I have a regimen and protocol to follow. Um, my wife is helping me. Even Eddie's helping me. My girl Duchess is over here taking care of me. She's, down there resting amongst all my mess. She was really depressed when I went to the hospital. In fact, I don't know if you could see, but over here, she ended up grabbing a pair of my socks out of my closet and she brought it over to her bed and she slept on it while I was at the hospital. So I knew she missed me, and her snoring just calms me down. So she's over here, you know, just resting. In fact, I think I'm going to do the same thing now. I don't know what time it is. It's probably very late, knowing me. My schedules are typically, you know, graveyard shift. Just because that's when my brain functions the most. During the day, I'm useless because of the heat and humidity and everything else. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm sorry that this took me away from you guys and haven't done much content. And I know I posted that one, community post about my being in the hospital, but I thought you guys deserved a little bit more insight into what happened. But I'm hoping that, you know, I'm hoping to stay a little bit healthier from now on. Trying to take care of myself a little bit better. I have been on a weight loss plan. I think I just decided to start it a little bit too late. I may have been able to heal a little bit more and potentially spare myself this incident had I not gained the weight to begin with and been a little bit healthier, drank the water, and been a little bit cleaner with my intake. And I think that's all I can do right now is continue on this mission. I was looking at a picture from 3 years ago, and it was amazing how much physical change there was in my face and my neck and just my body when I lost 100 pounds in 9 months. It was a drastic attempt at weight loss, but unfortunately, I lost that battle. I gained most of that weight back, and now I'm fighting that same battle but with a different tactic. I'm eating a little bit better. I'm doing more lifestyle-like changes where it's more of a mental control kind of thing that I'm trying to implement, and not look at food as, well, I'm trying to look at food as a fuel rather than a comfort. When you find something that makes you comfortable, you tend to flock to it. So every time you have a stressor, or every time you don't feel good, or every time you're sad or down or broken, that's what you flock towards. For me, it was always food. And, I consider myself a pretty mean chef. Not on the professional level whatsoever, but to a big boy standard, I'm pretty high up on that ladder. The problem is that for me, that was an easy way to, kind of kill multiple birds with one stone, figure out something new to eat. And then you make all this food, and it's like, oh, I can't have leftovers. I got to eat all this. And you end up eating 12,000 calories in 5 minutes or whatever. Eat a whole lasagna or, make a pizza and eat the whole thing and then do it 2 more times during the day because it's a bad day. I can't do that anymore. So now it's like, go back to basics, find certain foods that, you like, high in protein, low carb, that kind of stuff. And ultimately also be in a caloric deficit. It's crazy, but if you're looking at this and you suffer from weight issues, you're looking at this video, you're watching me in my bed right now, barely talking, because this is hard. I'm super dried up. The medication's still all up here. And you're wondering how I got here. The kitchen is the culprit. So I had to make a whole bunch of changes. And this time I need to stick to it because I don't think at my age I'll be able to do this many more times. So if you guys have any questions, I'll answer as best as I can. If you want to know anything specific, just leave me a comment. Otherwise, just reach out or find me on my social media and just private message me if you want to know something. If you want to know something that's more personal. Otherwise, just go down below, leave me your thoughts. And as always, thank you so much for always supporting the channel, supporting me, my family, and our endeavors. And I hope to get you guys into the bolt sooner than later. For now, have a good evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.